Ever said something you thought was a compliment, only to see her reaction totally change? What if I told you there are 3 dangerous compliments that mess with women's heads, without you even realizing it? Stick around, because these can either make or break your connection with her. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss eye-opening relationship truths. Ready? Let's uncover these hidden traps now. Lesson 1. You're too sensitive. At first glance, telling a woman you're too sensitive might seem like a harmless or even caring observation. Maybe you mean to encourage her to toughen up or avoid unnecessary hurt feelings. But in reality, this phrase is one of the most emotionally damaging compliments you can give. It invalidates her feelings, undermines her confidence, and subtly erodes the foundation of healthy communication and intimacy. To understand why, we need to look at what sensitivity really means. Sensitivity isn't a flaw or weakness, it's a vital aspect of human emotional intelligence. Sensitive people tend to be more attuned to their own feelings and those of others, often displaying empathy, kindness, and thoughtful awareness. When a woman expresses her emotions, she's often signaling something important: her needs, boundaries, fears, or hopes. Dismissing this with "you're too sensitive" shuts down that essential communication. What does it feel like when a woman hears this phrase? Imagine opening up about something that matters deeply to you, maybe a hurtful comment, a stressful situation, or vulnerability, and instead of feeling heard, you're told you're too sensitive. This can trigger a cascade of negative thoughts. Am I overreacting? Is there something wrong with me? Should I hide my feelings to avoid being a burden? Over time, this repeated invalidation can cause a woman to doubt her emotional reality and suppress her true self. This suppression isn't just painful, it's harmful. Bottling up emotions can lead to anxiety, depression, and difficulty forming close relationships. When emotional expression is discouraged, it limits trust and intimacy, essential ingredients for a strong, lasting relationship. Partners who feel unable to share their feelings openly risk growing apart. Moreover, the phrase "you're too sensitive" is often used as a deflection in conflict. Instead of addressing the issue at hand, it shifts blame onto the woman's emotions, framing her feelings as the problem rather than the behavior or situation that caused them. This tactic can prevent resolution and breed resentment. It communicates a lack of empathy and unwillingness to engage respectfully. From a cultural standpoint, this phrase also reinforces damaging gender stereotypes. Society often labels women as overly emotional or irrational, and telling a woman she's too sensitive perpetuates these stereotypes. It minimizes her emotional intelligence and suggests that her perspective isn't valid. This is unfair and untrue. Emotions are not a sign of weakness but a source of strength and connection. What should men do instead? The key is empathy and validation. When a woman expresses feelings, listen carefully and acknowledge her experience. You don't have to agree with everything she says, but you can show you care by saying things like, "I understand why that upset you," or "Thank you for telling me how you feel." These responses open the door to meaningful conversation and deepen emotional bonds. It's also important to remember that everyone has different emotional thresholds. What might seem too sensitive to one person may be a reasonable response for another. Respecting these differences is part of healthy communication and emotional maturity. In practice, replacing "you're too sensitive" with empathy transforms your relationship. Instead of shutting down feelings, you create a safe space where your partner feels understood and valued. This strengthens trust and encourages honest sharing, which in turn improves intimacy and connection. In conclusion, "you're too sensitive" is not a compliment, it's a harmful phrase that can damage a woman's self-esteem and your relationship. Sensitivity is a strength, a sign of emotional depth and humanity. By listening with empathy and validating her feelings, you foster a healthier, happier connection. Next time you feel tempted to say "you're too sensitive," pause and ask yourself, "Am I really trying to understand her, or am I dismissing her?" Choosing understanding over dismissal is the mark of emotional intelligence and love. Lesson 2. You're beautiful, but. At first glance, the phrase "you're beautiful, but" might sound like a compliment. After all, you're telling a woman she's beautiful, right? However, Adding a but after a compliment turns it into a backhanded remark, a so-called compliment that undercuts the praise and can leave lasting emotional damage. This kind of compliment creates confusion, insecurity, and distrust, and it can seriously mess with a woman's self-esteem. When you say, "You're beautiful," and then follow it with a criticism or suggestion, such as "You'd look better with makeup," or "You should lose weight," you're basically negating the first part of your statement. Instead of feeling appreciated and admired, she feels judged, scrutinized, or pressured to change. The but cancels out the compliment, turning it into a conditional approval. This leaves her wondering, am I really beautiful, or only if I change this thing? This conditional compliment is damaging because it doesn't offer genuine affirmation. It creates a double standard, where a woman is told she's beautiful on one hand but simultaneously told she needs to meet additional, often impossible, standards on the other. This kind of messaging contributes to widespread insecurity and body image issues among women. It also feeds into the cultural pressure that women constantly face to look a certain way to be considered attractive or worthy. The psychological impact of "you're beautiful," is subtle yet profound. When a woman receives this type of remark from someone she cares about or respects, it plants seeds of doubt. Instead of building confidence, it chips away at it. She may start to obsess over perceived flaws, trying to fix herself to live up to the conditional praise. This can lead to anxiety, low self-esteem, and dissatisfaction with her own appearance. Moreover, conditional compliments like this can create emotional distance in relationships. When a woman doesn't feel fully accepted or appreciated for who she is, she may begin to withdraw or feel less secure in the relationship. Genuine connection thrives on unconditional acceptance, knowing that you are loved and valued as you are, not just when you fit a certain ideal. The but also undermines trust and communication. Instead of encouraging open, honest conversation about feelings and needs, it creates an environment where criticism is disguised as praise. This can make it harder for women to express vulnerability or ask for what they want. It teaches them to expect that compliments will be qualified or negated, which is discouraging and exhausting. So, what can men do instead to give genuine, positive compliments? The key is to offer praise without conditions or qualifiers. Say what you truly appreciate without attaching a but. For example, instead of "You're beautiful, but you should wear more makeup," say "I love the natural way you look, it's stunning." Instead of "You're beautiful, but you should lose some weight," say "You have a radiant smile that lights up the room." Focusing on specific qualities rather than vague or conditional compliments makes your praise feel authentic and meaningful. Compliment her on things like her smile, her laugh, her intelligence, or the way she carries herself. These types of compliments celebrate who she is as a whole person, not just her appearance. It's also helpful to remember that beauty isn't just physical, it's about presence, confidence, kindness, and authenticity. Genuine compliments recognize this deeper beauty and convey respect and admiration that go beyond superficial standards. Ultimately, avoiding "You're beautiful, but" compliments shows emotional intelligence and respect. It communicates that you see her fully and appreciate her without trying to change or control her. This builds trust, deepens intimacy, and creates a positive, affirming environment where both partners feel valued and loved. In conclusion, the phrase "You're beautiful, but" is not a true compliment. It's a damaging backhanded remark that creates insecurity and confusion. Women deserve praise that is unconditional, sincere, and focused on their authentic selves. By choosing your words carefully and offering genuine appreciation, you can uplift her confidence and strengthen your relationship. Remember, compliments should build her up, not tear her down, even unintentionally. Lesson 3. You're different from others. At face value, telling a woman you're different from others sounds like a compliment. It implies that she's unique, special, or exceptional compared to other women. However, this seemingly positive phrase can actually be a dangerous compliment that messes with her head in subtle but impactful ways. It often places unfair pressure on her, creates unintended comparisons, and can lead to feelings of isolation rather than connection. When you say, "You're different from others," you are essentially making a comparison, whether overt or implied, between her and all the other women you've known. While the intent is usually to highlight her positive qualities, the effect can be complex and contradictory. She might feel flattered initially, but over time, this phrase can lead her to question what exactly makes her different and whether that difference is a blessing or a burden. One of the main issues with this compliment is that it sets her apart in a way that can feel isolating. By emphasizing her difference, it suggests that other women are less desirable, less interesting, or somehow less than. This can place an unspoken burden on her to live up to that exceptional status, which can be stressful and exhausting. It can make her feel like she must constantly prove herself or behave in certain ways to maintain that uniqueness. This kind of pressure can undermine a woman's sense of authenticity. Instead of feeling free to be herself fully and naturally, she might feel compelled to act in ways that confirm the compliment, often at the cost of her own comfort or true feelings. Over time, this can lead to anxiety, self-doubt, and emotional fatigue. Another subtle danger is that the phrase "you're different from others" implicitly involves comparison. Even if the comparison isn't stated directly, she knows it's there. She might start wondering what you think about others and whether you're judging them harshly or holding them in low regard. This can create tension or resentment, especially if she feels you're setting unrealistic standards or unfairly criticizing other women. Additionally, this compliment can interfere with forming deep emotional connections. Healthy relationships thrive on equality, mutual respect, and shared understanding, not on ranking or comparisons. By singling her out as different, you risk creating a subtle distance between you and her. She might feel like she's on a pedestal, separate from you, rather than truly equal and connected. From a psychological standpoint, this phrase also plays into social dynamics and insecurities. Everyone wants to feel special, but no one wants to feel like an outlier or other in a negative way. The tension between being unique and wanting belonging is real. When you say you're different from others, it can unintentionally tip the balance toward feeling isolated or misunderstood. So, what can you say instead? The key is to focus on specific qualities or behaviors that you admire without making broad comparisons. For example, instead of "you're different from others," try "I really admire how thoughtful you are," or "your sense of humor always brightens my day." These kinds of compliments are personal, genuine, and affirm her for who she is, not just in contrast to others. Highlighting concrete traits rather than vague comparisons creates connection rather than distance. It shows that you appreciate her unique qualities without placing her above or apart from others. This encourages equality, respect, and intimacy. Another important point is to celebrate individuality without judgment. Everyone has their own strengths and quirks, and acknowledging them without comparing fosters a positive and supportive atmosphere. This makes her feel valued and accepted for her authentic self. Finally, remember that sincere compliments are about building her up, making her feel seen, heard, and appreciated. When you avoid comparisons and focus on genuine appreciation, you create a safe emotional space where both of you can grow closer and feel truly connected. In conclusion, "you're different from others" may seem like a harmless compliment, but it carries hidden risks. It can create pressure, foster unwanted comparisons, and even cause feelings of isolation. By choosing to compliment specific qualities in a genuine and personal way, without comparison, you build trust, intimacy, and mutual respect. Compliments that celebrate authenticity, not difference, are the ones that truly deepen relationships and make women feel cherished. Conclusion. Thanks for watching. Now you know the 3 dangerous compliments that can unintentionally mess with a woman's head, and how to avoid them. Genuine compliments build connection, trust, and confidence, so choose your words carefully. If you found this helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more relationship insights that really work. Got your own experiences or questions about compliments? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Remember, small changes in how you communicate can make a big difference. See you in the next video.